So we're doing the Kiss unboxing LP thing now, and I have this little race. You guys know about it. He came first, and I actually mean he came in first. So my address is on the other side. Same with the this one was from Florida, if I'm not mistaken. It came from, let's see where it came from. It came from Plantation, Florida. So now I had to get him on eBay because the Kiss Online, the older copies were all sold out because everyone hoarded the hell out of him since he died. So here he is. This is Ace. It is. Looks great too. I know I have the picture disc, but I wanted the actual copy to go with this. So this is beautiful. The one that's coming in next might be either Peter or Gene's. So it's pretty nice. I'm pretty stoked to have this. So I'll see you. So I'll stop recording here and I'll show off the next part of it. So yeah, Ace came in first. Couldn't have been any happier with that. Alright guys, so here we are with the second part now. The one that came in second, I think this was the first one I bought, Mr. Gene Simmons. And I do have the CD here to compare it to. And I also have the Ace vinyl and CD to compare it to, so this will be a quite interesting one. Oh, there he is. Anyway, so let's unbox this from Gene Simmons. No, let's get Gene Simmons out of here. Here he is. Alright, let's move this. Here is Gene Simmons, everybody. Here he is. Gene is home. And it's funny because I actually thought I'd wait this a couple more days. Because as far as right now, Paul is in the next town over. Peter's still being shipped. I think it's in Ohio right now. Here's Gene Simmons on LP here. And we have Ace Frehley on LP as well, so. It's interesting. So yeah, this is Gene Simmons. No, it is the international version. So that's a good thing. So alright. And then I'll wait for Peter. Or actually no, Paul next. So part 3 here. Now, as you guys do know, for this third part, got these two already. And the third one came in. So, and it is Paul's album. Peter's is still stuck in the state of Ohio as I'm recording this. So, remember I have all the CDs, so I have the CD for it. I got this with Peter and Ace's, so that's. So, yep. Here we are. Dude. Okay, let's get this on the road. Now, this came from the state of Illinois, so interesting. From the state of Illinois. Now, the reason why I got these these 3 LPs on eBay is because Ace is sold out. When he died, everyone just completely bought every copy of it. Paul's and Jeans are not on the website, so I went on eBay and bought sealed copies. So, here's Mr. Stanley Eisen himself. Here he is, right here, Paul Stanley. Now, I don't know, in this part here, now, for the CD releases here, it's Gene, Ace, Peter, Paul. This, I don't know. We'll open up the, see Gene's here. See Gene's here. So it's Gene, Paul, and then Ace. Okay, so Peter's number 4 then, on vinyl. Because the mural is Paul, Gene, Peter, Ace, so. We'll do it the mural way. Here we go, and all I'm missing is Peter. Now, when I do get Peter's, I will be doing a whole unboxing of all these 4. So. Because like I said, I do have all the CDs here, but I'm not showing Peter's until I get the vinyl. So. Yep. Anyway, see you guys for part 4 of this. What's up, guys? So this is the last of the parts of the taking out the box, and we finally have Mr. Peter himself. He finally came in. It took a few extra days, but here he is. Like I said, the address on the other side, so it will not be shown. Now, this was not from eBay. This was from the KISS website, so, which is quite interesting because Paul and Jeans are not on there, so. Alright, so no rip on the top this time because that's usually what happened when I got the other ones. So, here he is. There is a little bend here though. I think that must have been from shipping, which is. Yeah, you see how bent it is on this side? But I'm not really gonna make it like a big deal or anything because, you know, it took a while for me to get this, so. Here's Peter himself. Now, what's in this mayhem bag, you ask? You'll see right now. This is where I put the other 3 albums on here. Here's Paul's, sealed. Now, I'm gonna make sure that I, do everything now. I'll just show you everything. Alright, so I'm relocated. So now, let's take a look at these, shall we? Here he is. Here is the 4 members of the band with each CD album here. Paul Stanley. Now this was purchased from the state of Illinois. So here's the CD from the store. Now Gene Simmons was purchased from the state of North Carolina. Don't mind my YouTube thing here on the background, but he was purchased in the state of North Carolina. Here is his album. This one was the one I got used, so. Now, Peter Criss was purchased in the state of Minnesota, I think. Yeah, Peter's the only one of the 4 where I bought from the KISS store. So, let's see. Hold on, I'll make sure. No, he came from the state of Michigan. Peter came from the KISS warehouse in the state of Michigan. Here is the CD album, and here's the little bend from the package. But, you know, what can you do? And here is Ace, rest in peace. He was purchased from the state of Florida. So, And here's the CD album. Also, like Peter and Paul's is from the Kiss store. So I'm gonna take some pictures with it. I'll make a thumbnail with this, and then I'll start doing the unboxings. I'll start with Paul, then Gene, then Peter, then Ace. Just by Kiss order, poster order, and also by order of how the band is, because Peter had the number 3 on his costume. So let's go ahead and let's start that. All right, so here we go. We're gonna start doing the Kiss unboxings, and the first one we're doing is Paul Stanley himself, the first member of the band. Now, I'll kind of go over what I have on here. So I bought him on November 1st, and he was the most expensive of the 4. With tax, he cost, now that all this is tax and shipping and all that, so it's all in here. It cost me with a total of $40.93. He was the last one to be shipped, and he was the 3rd person to be delivered. So he was the 3rd album to be delivered. So he was the first one that I did buy. So it is, actually, I think he was the 2nd one I purchased. No, he was the 2nd one I purchased. And yeah, he was the 2nd one I purchased. He's the first member of the band, technically speaking. He was $4.93 with everything involved, all taxes, everything. And he was the 3rd one delivered, and he was the last one to be shipped. So now I'm going by poster orders. So, and if you guys want to take a look at the CD, this is what we have right here. I have all 4 CDs. Now all the CDs are the 1997 remasters, and the LPs are the 2014 reissues. So, and they all have these stickers here. So I do have they flew out of the fucking bag, but I do have I have these for them. I'm gonna take out 4 of these. I have 3, and here's 4. So let me put this all back in, and let me unbox this. Alright, so here is Paul Stanley. Now, my favorite song on here, on his solo album, is Tonight You Belong to Me. It's a great acoustic, and my least favorite is, I don't really have one, but I would probably say Love and Chains or Ain't Quite Right. Those are probably my 2 least favorites. So now he is my, out of the 4 songs, this is my 2nd favorite of the 4. So we're breaking the seal now. Now, I'm gonna make sure that I save the hype sticker, 180-gram auto vinyl, and it says on all these, first vinyl pressing since 1985 editions. So I think there was a 1985 reissue, then these weren't issued on vinyl again until 2014, which is where they've been, ever since. So now, I'm not getting the Alive remaster, I'm not getting the box set, I'm not getting the Just to Kill box set. I mean, to be fair, I don't have the money anymore, so I'm no longer working as I'm making this video, so it is quite the exchange, to say the least. So let me make sure that I save this. Now, there was something in 2018 regarding the 40th anniversary of the albums here. They did issue a box set of where each member had a specific colored vinyl of their solo album, and I think it sold for like $150. I don't remember how much it sold for, but I remember hearing about it. Now, these should all come in with the posters. So it should come in with the posters. You can kind of see it's a bit older because you can see the vinyl's kind of circling on it. Now, I have a sleeve here. So here is, yeah. So here is the poster of Paul himself. Now, for these vinyls, I think they should have lips, like clippings. Yes, it does. Now, these are the ones I was talking about in the Kiss CD review. These match with Paul matches with Gene, Gene matches with Peter, and Peter matches with Ace. So that's a good part of it. Now, here he is. Here is Paul Stanley. Here is these. Now, this is how you're supposed to get it. Paul, Gene, Peter, Ace. So, and each album, each member of the band, each solo album, has their face on it. Whoops. I don't want to break this. So that's what you see here. And this is side 2. Yes, I am. You can also kind of see, you know, this is a bit normal, but whatever. I'm not really into that whole part of it. So then now, I put the sticker in here, the hype sticker. Here's Paul Stanley. Here we go, Mr. Stanley Eisen. You are in your bag. Now, here is Gene Simmons. He's the second member of the band, although he would kind of call himself first. This is the second member of Kiss, Gene Simmons, and his color is red. I forgot to mention Paul's. His was purple because he's like a star. You know, he's like the focal point. Gene is the demon, so it makes sense why he is red. So, my favorite song, Radioactive. My least favorite song has to be Mr. Make Believe or Man of 1,000 Faces or When You Wish. Like, I don't like those songs. Also, Seen Your Dreams, the remake of this is also garbage. I don't like it. I like the original version on Rock and Roll Over. So, here he is, Mr. Gene Simmons. We're going to start right here. Gene Simmons. Oh yes, we have it all here. This one was actually a bit easy. Look at this. This one was actually a bit easy. Now, like I said, each solo album is the color red. So Gene, on the box set, was red, a red vinyl, compared to Paul's purple. So, saving the hype sticker here. Mr. Gene Simmons. Alright. Here's his hype sticker. We'll put that to the side. So, I also have a box. Now, I actually left the bag of the CDs I got for the month of October. I still have that bag. I had to get rid of it. But here is Gene Simmons. Now, this must be a newer one. So, here is the vinyl. Same thing as the one like with Paul's, and this could be with the other two. So, and here is his poster. And like I said, the thing with Paul mixes the Gene and it goes right into Peter, which is what the triangles are. So we'll put that to the side. Put that here. Here is Gene Simmons. Now we get to see his glorious face of red demonic blood. Here, yes. Here's the first side. Here's his face right there, and here's side two. Now there's another fun fact. Gene and Peter's albums were made around the same time, and Sean Delaney produced both of them, and Neil Jason, who was the bass player on both their solo albums, played on those albums. So they are probably the most similar in terms of music making. So yes, it is. And we got Gene's here. I'm going to put the vinyl inside, put the poster. Now, Jeans is my least favorite solo album. I don't really like this one that much. I mean, there's songs on there there's some good songs on here, but, in terms of, music, I think as a solo artist, Gene Simmons would be a terrible solo artist if he ever made any actual original music. So, I mean, he only made 2 solo albums. He made Asshole in 2004, and he hasn't made another solo album since then. So, it is. I mean, I know Paul made 2 more solo albums. One on his own, Live to Win, and Paul made Soul Station, his Soul Station band. So, here's Gene Simmons. Convicts will go in here as we are a band. Anyway, now here is probably the second most similar album to Gene. Because, like I said, I think both these albums are completely similar. Peter Criss with the Damage from Shipping, which I said I will not send a complaint because it's my week to get it. I don't really care. So, my favorite song, that's the kind of sugar Papa likes. My least favorite, I Can't Stop the Rain, I'm Gonna Love You. Those are probably my 2 least favorites. Now, like I said, this is not a bad song. This is not a bad album. It's just a terrible Kiss album. You know what I mean? It's like, I forgot to show Jeans, but here's the CD. 1978 remasters. And here's Peter, also 1997 remasters. All those are. So, yeah, Peters is probably the most musically different, but it's also like Jeans. It's a terrible Kiss album, but it's not a bad album by any means. I actually would listen to this if I wanted to on my own terms. Here we go. Now, Gene Simmons, I forgot to mention this. Now, Gene Simmons, if I remember correctly. Now, I forgot to do this, so I'm going to, make sure I kind of split everything. Gene Simmons was the first album I bought. I got him on November 2nd, and his was the second shipped, and his was the second delivered. And he cost $39.98. He was the second most expensive behind Paul. And it is quite fitting that, it is this way, so. Now, as for Peter Criss, his was the his was the last one I purchased. His was the third one shipped. His was the last one that came. It came in today, which is November 12th. So I got him 9 days ago. And his was $38.92. So let's continue with this one here, shall we? Anyway. Alright, so now here is Peter's hype sticker. Here's his hype sticker. Now, Peter's the third member of Kiss in terms of music. I mean, he always calls himself the third member of Kiss, and I think you can kind of see the damage. You see what I mean right here? They can kind of look closely. Now, like I said, it's not a big deal to me. I mean, I could probably flatten this a little bit, but... Okay, so Peter's has a lyric sheet, of all things. His has a fucking lyric sheet, which is probably the most interesting about this. Here is his poster. His poster is a jungle cat, which is green, which is what it's supposed to be. And here it is right here. Now, this connects with Ace's. This connects with Gene's. So, now Peter's also has his vinyl. Here's this one, and here's side 2. Now, like I said, here's the face, similar to the other two. So, now the thing about, now I remember, I think I watched Mr. Rocket. I think here's the guy I watched. He did a video where he explained Peter's drumming, and Peter is, Peter's like Bill Ward. He's like John Bonham. He's like Neil Peart. He's very jazz, but he's also very soul-like. Like, he's not like swing like Bill Ward was, or like he wasn't funk like John Bonham was. He was just strictly a jazz soul drummer. Which, when you hear like songs like 100,000 Years, Detroit Rock City, God of Thunder, and especially songs, like Parasite, and, especially one of my favorite Kiss songs, Black Diamond, it's very obvious he is a jazz drummer. So, I want everyone to know this. Like, he's not the best drummer in the world, and I actually don't think I think the two drummers that succeeded him, Eric Carr, I think, is probably the best drummer that the band had, and then Eric Singer. Eric Singer's a good drummer, but Peter Criss is more of a feely guy, which works out for him, so. Here we go. Putting him on the... Here he is. Peter Criss. Here is Mr. Peter George John Criscuolo. Now we get to the guy who... Now this is the reason... This vinyl is the reason why I want to make this video. Now before I go anywhere, I have the original picture disc of this, and I actually have decided to sell this. So this is Ace Frehley, but we're not showing this one. I'm not going to show this off. Here is his soul album. Here's the CD from... This is the 97 remasters. And here he is. The guy that just died, and his cause of death was actually revealed. Which, isn't that, like, listen, before I kind of go anywhere, is that really a surprise that it was an accident? Like, when you fall down the stairs like that and you hit your head like that, it's an accidental death. Like, come on. That's how Bob Saget died, of all things. So, this is kind of how it is here. So, here is Mr. Ace Frehley. Here are pictures of me when I saw them when I was about 9 years old in the Palladium Theater in Times Square. So, I think I actually went to the Palladium Theater years later, and I think I saw the Dragon Force there, so it is interesting that it all comes back full circle, so. Now, Ace's solo album was actually the cheapest, and his was the third one I purchased. Now, he is the fourth member of Kiss. His was the third one I purchased. I bought him on November 2nd, the day before I got Peter's. And his was the first one that was shipped, and his was the first one that actually arrived. I've had this on the seal for about a week now. He is... The song I spent the cheapest on was this one. $32.16. Compared to what I spent on the other three, this was a good fucking deal. So... But I also, like I said, this is all tax, shipping, everything in total price. It's all in here. So, this is how much it was, $32.16. So, and I actually have this all done. I have all the tracking numbers involved, Now, my favorite song is, it's Rip It Out. My least favorite, now, my least favorite would probably be I'm in Need of Love. It's not a really good song, but it still kicks ass. But I wouldn't listen to it. Alright. Here is taking him out of his seal now. Alright. Now, the thing with Ace Frehley's album is that he has, like I said, Gene and Peter had Neil Jason and Sean Delaney on those. Paul Stanley had Bobby Kulick. He has Anton Fig. And Anton Fig, as you guys know, would be on David Letterman. And he actually would play on Ace Frehley's solo album from 1987, Frehley's Comet, which is that album. And then he also played on Anomaly and Trouble Walking. And, yeah, so... This album was also produced by Eddie Kramer. If you, I'll kind of go with the able things here now. Jeff Glicksman he did Paul Stanley's. He also reproduced some of the other bands, especially an album I actually forgot to mention in the review. He also did Black Sabbath Seven Star. He produced that album. Now John Delaney did these two. He did John Delaney did Gene Simmons. Vinnie Poncha did Peter Criss. He also would do Dynasty and Unmasked. Eddie Kramer did this one. As you guys remember, he did the Kiss demos of '73, and he also did Alive, Rock and Roller, and Alive 2. So this has a lot of interesting significance in here. So here he is. Here's his album. Now, what's my least favorite? Gene Simmons, followed by Peter Criss. Paul Stanley's my second favorite. This guy hit it. You know, this guy was like, oh, I'm the one who does the least, but I also fucking listened. You know? Now, I don't know if this one has a lyric sheet compared to Peter's, but we'll see that. He does not have a lyric sheet, which is a good thing. Here is his poster. Now, like I said, this is the mural, so this is a whole fucking mural. And his color is blue because it's obviously space, and space is kind of bluey, so which probably fits his character a lot. So, and then the solo album, and then the box set, his color was blue compared to Peter's green, Paul's purple, and Gene's red. So, now, why is Ace the fourth member of Kiss? Because he was the last one to join. So, I think Paul's because, you know, Paul's the first because he is the front man of Kiss. He's the one that kind of brainstormed the idea. Gene is the marketing machine. He's also kind of, you know, the tongue of the band. Peter was the first guy they inquired. So he was number 3. This guy's number 4. So, here is Paul Daniel Frehley. And that's actually his name. His name was always Paul Frehley, so. So yeah, this is it. This is it right here. I don't have to do anything else. I just want to say rest in peace to Ace Frehley himself, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, I will be showing this off in the November unboxing, which isn't really gonna be that much compared to October. December might be like maybe 1 or 2 things. I don't know yet, but we'll see. November's gonna have some of the CDs I wanted to buy for the music playlist review I'm gonna be doing at the end of the year. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, favorite, check out my BlueSky, my Instagram, my threads, and you can also follow me on Snapchat. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and see you guys later. See you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. You know, you guys know what my favorite album is. This is my favorite of the 4, and then followed by Mr. Paul Stanley himself, and then we got Peter Criss, which is number 3, and then Gene Simmons is number 4. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video. No, don't forget to like, subscribe, favorite. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me do this first because this is a lot. Don't forget to like, subscribe, favorite. Don't forget to check out my threads, my BlueSky, my Instagram. You know, don't forget to check out my Classic Metal CD post. This is the video. This is the end of the video, guys. So, hope you guys do enjoy it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Alright, so this is recorded on my tripod with the table and my little video camera. So, I'm going to down here. So, anyway, I just want to make this known. I don't like this fucking thing. Alright, so this is filmed with my little tripod and my little video camera. So I will be playing these vinyls individually on 4 sets of film, so I can kind of just play them all as is and not waste any video. So his solo album. Here is Paul's solo album. And this is I will not be taking the sticker. I'll be playing this in its entirety. Because the Paul and then so for all the other 3, I'll be doing the slides on the same thing, and then we'll end the video here. So here's Paul's. All right, here's the poster for that. So the poster. Let's see with that. Okay. Here is from this to the side. Here's side 1. Here we go. Let me turn it around. Let me place it right on the turntable. Okay. There we go. That there. That I keep that there so I know where it is. Here's Gene. I'll slap these together. Ready? I fucking hate Christmas. I fucking hate Christmas. Alright, so we're now switching to side 2 of Mr. Gene Simmons on here. Here's side 2. I still need to get a dust flap for this, I won't lie, but this is side 2. There we go. Alright, mark it. Alright, Gene's is done. Here's Peter Criss. Here's his album. This one's playing next. I really like this song right here. That's the kind of sugar Papa likes. Now, like I said when I did the unboxing part of the video, he's the only one with the lyric sheet. So here's Ace Frehley. You can see that right now. Once again. Everyone knows. And the shipping damage. The New York Anthem, written by here's Peter's lyric sheet, Ballard. And here's his poster. Rest in peace, Ace. Lyric sheet. Here's the poster. So this one is side 1. Yes.
is.
Now, I actually like this one. You know, side one. I do like 50s soul and jazz. I really like some of the jazz from the 60s. And it's quite funny because one of my records of choice is Phil Woods. So. Here's Peter. Here we go. Side one, side two. Here's side two. Alright. Of course it starts with this one. It's okay, I like this one. Ace Frehley. Here we go. This is the video of me playing all in one